Alrighty, we are live. Doors to the Triathlon Nutrition Academy are open. I'm so excited to open those doors this morning, and we have a huge week of events happening all week to celebrate the open week. This is the last time that I'll be opening doors for 2023. I won't open them again until January 2024. So if nutrition is the missing link for you and you're starting to think that you need to get some help with this space, then now is your best opportunity to do that, because this will be the last chance to work with me for the year. Hello, everyone in Insta. Hey, Sally. All right, so what I was going to do today for this live, this is our first live. We're kicking it off. I have been up all night with a vomiting kid, so that's been fun. But the coffee's starting to kick in. This is the first live that I'll be doing as part of our open week celebrations, and then I'll be basically jumping on live most days. I'll be joined by our Academy athletes in the week at around sort of 10:30 Brisbane time, which is the day before in the afternoon, evening, your time if you're in the US and Canada. And that is really just to kind of showcase how awesome they are. I love giving age groupers a platform. They are doing some pretty cool things, and I think it's really important to share that, because all we hear from is the pros often, and as an age grouper, we actually fit more into our lives. We train for 3 sports, we hold down a full-time job, or some form of job, got to pay for that triathlon habit somehow, as well as all of our family commitments as well. So a lot of things are going on. You can't be in my video, Jude. So what I was going to do today for this live is just talk you through the Academy program. I get lots of questions in my DMs all the time. So I'll run you through what the program is and what you get. And any questions, feel free to just pop them in here for me. Happy to answer them. And if you're watching the replay and you've missed me live, chuck them in the comments below and I can still answer them. I'll basically be glued to a screen all week answering your questions if you have any. So let me run you through the program. Doors are open today, and I was just trying to think about the date. So it's the 8th of July. So the next, our first module starts on the 15th. So next Saturday, everything unlocks itself at 5 o'clock in the morning, Brisbane time, because triathletes are up early, and it gives you the whole weekend to go through your masterclass. So our program runs for basically 9 months, because we've got 3 phases, and each phase goes for 12 weeks. Now, each phase block of 12 weeks is broken up in a bit of training, do the work, and then we've got 4 weeks of rest weeks and adaptation at the back. So the first 8 weeks, you get a masterclass that drops into your library on the weekend, giving you the maximum amount of time to go through that, before we then catch up live on Zoom with your phase. And I call that Power Hour. So we've got an hour of power, picking an advanced sports dietitian's brain, asking questions, making sure that you've got your plan sorted for whatever it is that we're talking about that week. So it might be carbohydrate loading and making sure that you've got your specific and custom plan for you. It might be recovery, which is the very first thing that we tackle in the Academy, because it is one of the most important things for you as a triathlete, is what you do after training, so you can maximize those adaptations. So that's how each week rolls for the first 8 weeks of each phase. And in the back 4 weeks, there's no power hour sessions, so you get a break from my face, but you do have another module or masterclass that drops in just with some bonus information for stuff that I know that you need, but you haven't necessarily thought about. So we've got quite a few things in there that you'll find really useful. There's a whole module on sports gels. There's a whole module on sports drinks. So we really dive into what's out there, what's in them, what's a good type of product, what are we looking for on the label, and what are the things that we don't really want to spend our money on. Hello, everyone on the gram. And there's a couple of people, Jude, you can't come in my live. And there's a couple of people on Facebook watching as well. So say hi if you're here, because I can't actually see who's watching. Just see if I can delete this request. Cancel. No, can't be in my live. If you want to be in my live, come to our party live on Friday where all of the Academy athletes are going to join me live. So that is how a phase works. And there's 3 of those, which is why it's a 9-month program. So 12 weeks times 3 is 9 months. And because we're starting now in July, we'll get through phase 1 and then phase 2 before Christmas. Then we'll have a little bit of an extended break over Christmas because no one wants to see a dietitian over Christmas. Many years of experience. It's okay, Jude, you just got to stop pressing that camera button. And then we kick off again for phase 3 in January, a couple of weeks into January. So gives you some time to make sure you really cement the knowledge and learnings from the first 2 phases before we start to tackle phase 3. And I like to strategically teach triathletes how to eat properly in a way that's kind of habit stacking and building that knowledge as we go. So each week kind of builds on itself. I often get the question of if I can just skip phase 1 and 2 and just go to phase 3. And the answer is no, you can't, because we need to build our nutritional pyramid from the ground up. And most triathletes build their pyramid by flipping that on its head and doing the sprinkles on the icing on the cake first and all of those 1%ers. And you're doing things like continuous glucose monitoring and doing ketones and all this stuff that you see that gets marketed at you, but it's not actually going to be effective. It's got nothing to stick to if you haven't built those foundations first. Now, you might not think that those foundations are sexy and you might think that they're boring, but trust me, if you work from the ground up and build that foundation, it will set your nutrition up for life. I'm really passionate about teaching you how to perform at the best of your ability, get the most out of your body, but I also really want to make sure that you live a long and healthy and prosperous life. Like, I'm not about quick fixes and diets and detoxes and any of that fast, really full-on unsustainable change. I want to create long-term sustainable change. So this is the last diet that you ever need. Like, you only have to do this once. Yes, it's 9 months. It is a long time, but you will learn so much, and you only have to do it once, because I don't want you to have to do it again or have to do another program because you didn't quite get what you need. It has literally got everything that you need to set you up for a long and prosperous career as a triathlete. So phase 1 is very much our fundamentals. We're talking about, I need to breathe. It's been a stressful morning. Our fundamentals are really where you're going to get the best bang for your buck out of training. So phase 1, we tackle all of those sorts of things. So we're talking about your recovery nutrition and your pre-training nutrition, and making sure you have a clear and structured plan for that for every single session across your week. We also talk about what you're doing on the bike and what you're doing on the run, and making sure you've got some foundations. Foundations laid for those, because we're going to build on that in phase 2 and phase 3 as well. So we're just going to make sure everyone's on the same even playing field with what they're doing on the bike and the run, because we're going up from there. So we need to get those fundamentals right first before we start doing the sprinkles. We also talk about iron and calcium in phase 1, which are 2 really important nutrients for you as a triathlete. If you're not getting enough of those in your diet, then that is bad, equals bad. And particularly for long-term health and looking at things like osteoporosis when you are older and maybe retired from the sport, and you thought and you were fit and you were healthy and you're active when you were younger, but you're actually doing damage, long-term damage to your bones. So it's really important that you understand calcium, where we get it, how much you need, and all those types of things to set you up for that long-term health as well. And iron is another key one. It is involved in many processes in our body, but one of the key ones is transporting oxygen around our body. And if we can't do that with exercise, then we're not going to exercise effectively. So again, we need to really make sure we are not limiting in these things. And a lot of triathletes are, until you have a bit of knowledge and understanding around what you're doing there so that you can monitor it. I'll teach you how to monitor it, keep check with it, make sure that you're always okay and you're never in the red. What else do we do in that phase? Oh, the other key thing, like one of the biggest components that I'll teach you in phase 1 straight off the bat, like in the first month, we're going to talk about periodization, which if you listen to the podcast or you've heard me before, it's something I talk about all the time, and it's making sure that you're not eating the same things all the time. We are eating strategically to support the demands of training. We're eating for the work required. So that means that like on a lighter session day or a rest day, rest days, what are those? That you are eating to support that. You're not eating blanketly across the week, which is very common for me to see when I look at what people are doing. Same as like a really long session day. Say you've got a 3, 4, 6 hour ride, your nutrition on that day needs to look completely different to just a swimming day. Or maybe you've got a day where you've got a really hard bike session in the morning and then a hard swim in the evening, or you've got 2 hard like bike run sessions in that day. Your nutrition, again, on that day needs to look completely differently. So we need to really layer our nutrition strategies around training to get the maximum adaptations out of it. And I always talk about that as like the supercharged zone. When we have our training dialed in and we have our nutrition dialed in, think of it as like 2 circles, like a Venn diagram, where we cross those over and they intersect. That is where the magic happens, when you've got all of your nutrition strategies laid into those training adaptations. Because we can do a lot of junk miles as a triathlete. We can do a lot of training, but if we aren't adapting and recovering from those training sessions, then we're not actually maximizing what we're trying to achieve in them. So nutrition is often the missing link for people to kind of feel that, and you don't really know how good you can feel until you've got it all dialed in and you've got it sorted. One of the things the academy athletes say to me all the time is like, I just thought being exhausted and tired was normal. So like I really want to challenge the way that you think about being tired and maybe wear that exhaustion on your sleeve as a badge of honor, because you shouldn't feel like that. Like, yes, you're going to feel tired sometimes because you do a lot of exercise and you work and your family and all the things, but you shouldn't be absolutely exhausted come Friday. Like you want to still have energy at the end of your training week, because often that's where your longer endurance sessions are, and we want to really get the most out of those. You're an endurance athlete. We're doing endurance training. So I want to make sure that you are supporting that maximally with nutrition, because that is often where people also really fall down with their nutrition on those days, because you're out there training for a long time. You have less access to food and are typically, like either like out of your routine usually. And so you're like the way that you eat is so different to like a structured work week where you've got your Monday to Friday, you've got your job and you have like morning tea at certain times and you have lunch at certain times because you have to around work. Weekends can either go 2 ways. You've got like free for all and you've got plenty of access to the cupboard and the pantry at home, or people also just don't eat because you lose that rhythm and reminder to eat. So that is phase 1. Phase 2, I'm not going to go into that in as much detail. All of the details are on the Academy page if you want to go and read about every single topic that we cover in the phases. So go to dietitianapproved.com/academy if you want to check it out. It's in my bio on Instagram. It's all over my Facebook page if you're watching on Facebook. You basically can't miss it. It's actually, if you're on Facebook, it's just above in the description of this live too. But phase 2, we start to build into what we've done in our foundations. We're building up our pyramid and we are going into more advanced nutrition strategies here. So we're starting to talk about carb loading. We're talking about hydration. We are talking about caffeine and harnessing the performance boosting effects of caffeine here. We're also starting to develop our race nutrition plans for sprint and Olympic distance triathlon, and making sure that you've got custom plans for you for those events and those distances, because your race nutrition is individual and it's individual for every single distance as well. You can't double your 70.3 plan to get your full distance Ironman plan, or you can't halve your Ironman plan to get your 70.3. Same as sprint and Olympic, like they're completely different beasts. And race nutrition for me is what you do before the race, what you do during the race, and what you do after the race. So it's not just what you do on the bike and what you do on the run. So we need to think more holistically around setting ourselves up for success and then recovering to the best of our ability as well. All right, and then phase 3, we build on all of that sort of stuff, and we are talking a bit more higher level. We're building up our pyramid even further. And we are talking about things like gut training and how to do that properly, because that's really important when you're trying to eat while you're exercising. It's actually really challenging to do that, but we can strategically train our gut to do that in a really effective way. We're also talking about our 70.3 and full distance Ironman race nutrition plans here and making sure that you've got those dialed in for you. It's a bit of a beast. We're going to talk about recovery post-race and what you do there. We're going to talk about sodium, particularly as we get into the longer sort of stuff, like what do those guidelines tell us? How much do you need? Because there's a lot of information out there about sodium, and making sure that you do know what you're doing that's specific to you, because you'll have done some hydration testing earlier in the program to know what sort of sweater you are. And then we're going to layer in some more knowledge around sweat sodium and things at that point too. We also talk about multiple transportable carbs and what's in sports products and how to figure out what are the best products to use, what are the ones to not throw your money down the drain. If you haven't listened to episode 101 of the podcast yet, go and listen to it. If you find it anywhere you listen to your podcast, search for Triathlon Nutrition Academy. I did an episode with Chris and Kelly, who are 2 academy athletes that are saving more than $350 a month on useless stuff that they no longer use or take or need since joining the academy program. So that is more than what the program costs a month. It is just insane. Kelly's actually more than that. Kelly is saving baseline $550 a month on stuff that he no longer takes. And it's actually more than that because he's got another thing he's going to drop. So it's closer to $1,000 a month, which blows my mind. So go and listen to that episode. It is a cracker. It's one of my favorites. Episode 101 of the podcast, Triathlon Nutrition Academy. All right, so that is our 3 phases. As I said, each one goes for 12 weeks. We'll get through phase 1 and 2 before Christmas, and then phase 3 will hit the ground running come January, New Year vibes. And we've got 36 masterclasses through the whole program. The other question I get often asked about is like, what happens if I get behind or if I get stuck or, you know, like I'm really busy at this time point. And what I've done is I've given you 12 months access to our 9-month program. So you've got a whole extra 3 months off the back of it. If you need that extra time to like go back and rewatch something, or you've got a couple of weeks behind, you can catch up. Like there's no stress if you are a couple of weeks behind. Like commit to putting it into your calendar now so that you are focusing on you and your nutrition. But hey, like if life throws you curveballs, which it will, and it's totally fine. Like there's no stress about it. You've got an extra 3 months access. And then we do have a secret supercharged squad program at the end of the academy if you do want to keep access to everything as well. So you don't lose it if you do want to keep it. But I won't talk much more about that because that is for our alumni only. All right, I've been talking a lot. Does anyone online have any questions, or anyone watching the replay, if you have any questions, pop them in the box for me. I'm going live most days this week, and I'm also running camp starting on Monday. So if you're not registered for camp and you do want a bit of a kickstart with your nutrition, then definitely go and check that out, thetricamp.com. And it's 3 days, and I'm going to give you, we jump on Zoom for 30 to 60 minutes every day for those 3 days. I'm going to talk about setting you up for success with your nutrition. So we're talking about some habits you need to have on the daily basis, how to drop body fat without losing muscle and maintaining energy through that training block, and some of the kitchen ninja hacks and tips and tricks that I have for you just to help fast track you through the whole cooking, eating, meal prepping, shopping process. Because I know how time poor you are. So any little tips and snippets that you can take to help you through that, it's going to make your life so much easier. So the tricamp.com tickets are, hello, what you doing on my live, Claire? Tickets are 47 Aussie dollars, 35 US dollars, like cheap as chips. It's not about the cost. It's about all of the awesome tips that you're going to get over 3 days, just to give you a bit of a kickstart with your nutrition. And there are some pretty cool bonuses if you come along to camp and do join us in the Academy program off the back of that too. So go and register. It'll be a whole heap of fun. We start on Monday morning, my time, at 9 a.m. Brisbane time, which if you're in the US or Canada, that's, let me get this right, 4 p.m. Pacific time, 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern. And then if you're British Standard Time, it's like midnight or something like that. But everything is recorded, so you can watch the replays if you are not able to make it live. I will hang around at the end each day for live Q&As though as well. And is that a serious question, Claire? Claire is an amazing photographer friend of mine. But yes, the program is for triathletes, Claire. Unless you want to take up triathlon. Do you want to start doing triathlon? I can help you. Find you a coach, get your bike, get you some kit. That'd be fun. All right, any other questions from anyone that's on live? Like I said, I'll be here all week, but doors are open to the Academy program now. So head to dietitianapproved.com/academy if you want to join us. They're open until Sunday next weekend. So we've got 8 days of celebrations, and this is the last time that they are open in 2023. So the other things that you get, so you've got the program, you've got your master classes, you've got your bonus modules, and you've got power hour sessions with me. I'm also giving you access to our entire recipe database, which has got over 150 healthy, nutritious, and delicious recipes included in that, just to make that whole process of looking for recipes, knowing what to eat, and trying to understand what you're looking for, just super simple and super easy. I'm also giving you my weekly menu planning service, which is, I don't have one with me actually. It's an entire week mapped out of what you're eating for dinners, the shopping list to get everything, plus the recipes to go with that. So again, it's just making your life easier. Like I'm trying to get you to eat well, but in the, easiest way possible. So you're not slaving away in the kitchen cooking for hours. You're not wasting 2 hours trying to find recipes and then still not sure if they hit the right targets for you and things like that. All of the recipes in my database hit the right targets for active people so that you can be confident that what you pick and what you're eating is going to be fine. And then in the program, I'm going to teach you how to scale what that is based on training load and periodize your nutrition to training. What else do we get? So we've got all of those things. I think that's it. Don't even know what's in my own program. Like I said, not much sleep was had last night. But do come along to camp if you're not registered yet. And I am also running a free webinar later on in the week on Friday, which if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, it's your Thursday evening. All you have to do to register for that, it's free. It's dietitianapproved.com/webinar. And I'm going to share with you, one nutrition secret that all triathletes need to know, and making sure that you are doing that. I'm going to set you up on the path of how to actually do that. Who's saying hi to me? Hey, Lee, how are you? Lee's one of our Academy athletes, and you will see her make a cameo on the reels this week. It's going to be good. All right, guys, I might jump off, but thank you for joining me. Yep, me too, Lee. Thank you for joining me for this first live today. I will be around all week, but any questions, just send me a DM. Happy to answer that for you if you want to be a secret squirrel and ask me off lives. But head to dietitianapproved.com/academy, and I will see you on live. When's the next one? Monday at 10:30 with Denise, our Ultraman. triathlete, ultraman / ultrawoman. Or if you come into camp, I'll see you at 9 a.m. Monday morning. All right, have a great weekend, everyone. No worries, Sally. I'll see you in phase 3 next week, Sally. Access begins on the 15th, Sal. So not today. You got a week. Hopefully that makes sense. All right, have a great weekend, everyone. Any questions, let me know. And yeah, I'll talk to you soon.